Please
You know,
do.
the first problem is the wages. Wages in the West, too high. If we're not willing to pay workers proper wage to do the right things, which is collecting and recovering and recycling, and no one in the West really wants to do that kind of work, the whole thing with recycling is basically wage arbitrage into countries where they have economies of scale and lower cost, partly because the waste management system, going back to what we said at the beginning, are outdated and they're not correct in the way they gather plastic from the source at the beginning. So the costs are higher to unscramble the omelet. So we should remember that countries don't dump waste, but a contract between a buyer and a seller is what happens when you trade plastic meant for recycling. So there has to be a
Yeah.
seller at one end and a buyer at the other. It's not a country dumping on a country. The
Right.
problem where this really propagated, which many people might not know, is that in China, when they banned the import of plastic in 2018, the reason is because China was growing so fast in the last 10 years before COVID. The manufacturing sector wanted plastic; they needed that, and the market was higher in China to buy a container of mixed plastic material rather than recycle it in California. I know one of the top optical recycling plants in California in the US that was trying to set up, and he couldn't get feedstock in the Bay Area
Mm.
because it was getting shipped to China because they were paying $50 more a ton because they were willing to pay for it. But what happened
Yeah.
is all these rogue entrepreneurs in China would buy its containers, send it to their house, have a picking party and on the weekend and sort through all the good things and maybe pick out 60 or 80% of the good material, and the other 20 maybe went to the river or got burned, and China could not
Ooh.
control